Welcome back to Learners Academy. This is Mona Bhatia, and in this chapter we are going to conclude gravitation chapter. The topics that we are going to cover is gravitational potential energy, escape velocity, weightlessness in space. So keep watching. Let's talk about gravitational potential energy. The energy stored in an object because of its position or state is called potential energy. As we go up, the potential energy increases because the height increases. Potential energy is given by the formula mgh, where m is the mass of the object at a height h, and on the ground potential energy is 0. When h is small as compared to radius of earth, we assume g, acceleration due to gravity, to be constant, and we use the formula mgh. But for large values of h, g changes, it actually decreases. Alright, for object at infinite height, g is equal to 0, as Earth's gravitational force will not act on it, so potential energy will be 0 there. When an object is at a height h from the surface of the Earth, potential energy is given by the formula minus gmm upon r plus h, where r is the radius of the Earth, m is mass of the Earth, h is the height of the object, and small m is the mass of the object. So what do we conclude? On the surface of the Earth, the potential energy is given by mgh, while at a height h from surface, potential energy is given by minus gmm upon r plus h. We'll talk about escape velocity now. Have you ever thrown a ball upward? What happens? Its velocity decreases. It keeps on decreasing, and after reaching certain height it becomes 0, and then it starts falling down, right? Now the maximum height the ball will go up is dependent on the initial velocity. So according to Newton's third kinematic equation, we have the formula v square is equal to u square plus 2as, where v, which is the final velocity, is 0 and acceleration will be minus g. Alright, so now by keeping these values in the equation, we get 0 is equal to u square plus 2as. Now we'll take this u square towards the left side of the equation, so we get minus u square is equal to minus 2gs. So there are negative sign on both the sides of equation, they get cancelled. So and this on the right hand side, we take this value of 2 and g towards the left side of the equation. The numerator now becomes the denominator, so we get the value of s. So s will become u square divided by 2g. Now s is the height reached by the ball. Since the value of g also keeps on decreasing as we go higher, so the force pulling the ball downward also decreases, right? If you keep the initial velocity so high, the ball will reach a height, and above a particular height, the initial velocity, the ball will be able to overcome the downward pull of Earth, as g is not acting on it now, and now the ball will not fall back on the Earth. Now this velocity is called the escape velocity, as it can now escape the gravitational pull of the Earth, right? Now, as I told you before, for an object to have acceleration due to gravity should be 0, the object has to be at an infinite distance from Earth. This means that object has to be free from the gravity of Earth. Alright, it has to reach an infinite height, and then it will stay there. Let us determine escape velocity using law of conservation of energy. For that, we know that an object which is going vertically upward can only escape the gravitational force of Earth if it has initial velocity either equal to escape velocity or higher than escape velocity, right? The force of gravity becomes zero only at infinite distance from the Earth. Why? Because force of gravity is inversely proportional to the square of the distance, right? So the object becomes free from gravity only at infinite distance from Earth, and there it will come to rest and will stay there. So to determine the kinetic energy of the object on the surface of Earth, we have the formula kinetic energy is equal to half mv square, where v is the escape velocity. What will be the potential energy of that object? That will be minus g mass of Earth multiplied by the mass of object divided by radius of Earth, that we have already calculated previously. You can go to previous slides to understand how it was calculated. So now the total energy of the object will be is always a sum of kinetic energy plus potential energy. So when we keep these values over here, we get energy 1, that is energy of the object on the surface of Earth, will be half mv square plus then bracket minus gmm divided by r. Alright, now but the same kinetic energy at infinite distance from Earth will not be having any value. Reason is because the kinetic energy will be zero. At infinite distance, the final velocity of that object has come to rest, right? As we have discussed earlier. Now potential energy will be with the same formula, minus gmm upon infinity will give 0, because potential energy is also calculated with relation to the position of an object in relation to Earth, right? Now the total energy of that object will be the sum of kinetic energy plus potential energy. So what is kinetic energy? We have to put the value of kinetic energy is half mv square. You know v is here 0. So when we put that value of v here, we get 0, and even potential energy is 0. So when we calculate, energy 2 will be 0, whereas energy 1 is half mv square plus minus gmm upon r. So but according to the principle of conservation of energy, energy 1 should be equal to energy 2. So now putting these two values over here, we get half mv square plus, in the bracket we'll put the value of potential energy on the surface of Earth minus gmm upon r, and this will be equal to 0. 0 because energy of that object and infinite distance from Earth has been calculated as 0. Now when we further solve this, we get half mv square. We'll take this value to the right side of the equation, and that becomes gmm upon r. Further, when we solve this, we take the r denominator to the right hand side of the equation. So we get 2 gmm upon r, right? And further we have to take this m also to the right side of the equation. Since here this is a numerator, when it goes to the right side it becomes denominator. We can cancel these two m. Alright, so when we cancel these two m, we get escape velocity, square of the escape velocity is equal to 2 gm upon r. Now this is the required expression. Now if we want escape velocity in term of g, that is acceleration due to gravity, then we know that g is given by the formula gm upon r square. So when we keep this gm here, so we get gm is equal to gr square. So now when we put this value of gm in this equation, previous equation, velocity square is equal to 2gm upon r, we get 2g r square divided by r. So when we cancel these two r, we get velocity square is equal to 2gr. So when we take this as velocity, we get square root of 2gr. Alright, now we get the value of escape velocity. To get that, we'll have to substitute the value of g, and we'll also substitute the value of radius of earth here. So when we solve this further, we get square root 2 multiply 9.8 multiply 6.4 into 10 to the power 6. Alright, so when we solve this further, we get square root 125.44. Now I'm going to break this up. 10 to the power 6, I'm going to write it 10 to the power 3 into 10 to the power 3 again. Why? Because it is a square root, and we can, this way it becomes easier for us to take one value. So further solving this, we get, when we solve the square root of 12.44, we get 11.2, and because we have to take only one value from this 10 to the power 3, so we take this 10 to the power 3 and we omit the other because we are now removing the square root. So we get 11.2 kilometer per second square, per second, not square. So this is the value of escape velocity of any object. That this is the velocity that is required by any object to escape the gravity of Earth. Alright, the spacecraft which are sent to moon or any other planets, they need to have their initial velocity either larger than the escape velocity so that they can overcome Earth's gravitational attraction and can travel to these space objects. Alright, let's talk about weightlessness in space. You must have seen pictures like this. Spacecraft and astronauts appears to be floating. Do you know why does this happen? The astronaut and spacecraft are at a height from Earth. They are at a very big height from Earth. Still, the value of g is still not 0. It is 11% less than the value which is on the surface of Earth. Alright, the weightlessness is caused because they are in a state of free fall. The reason for their weightlessness is because they are in a state of free fall. And you may wonder why the spacecraft and astronaut, they are not falling on Earth. The reason is because it has velocity along the orbit. Okay, it has a velocity along the orbit, and the only force that is acting on it is the gravitational force, alright, of the Earth, and therefore it is in a state of free fall. Got it? The velocity of free fall is same for spacecraft as well as for the astronaut or for any other object that is there in the space. So if some object is released by the astronaut, it remains stationary with respect to him, and it looks as if it is a weightless thing. Alright? I hope you had a good learning today. I have a question for you. According to Newton's law of gravitation, Earth's gravitational force is higher on an object of larger mass, right? Why doesn't that object fall down with higher velocity as compared to an object with lower mass? You can send your replies in the comment section below, and stay focused, keep learning. Have a good day. Bye bye.